Monday, everyone. I hope you're doing amazing this morning. Before we get into the topic of dream interpretation, I just want to take a moment to be thankful, because when I woke up this morning, I just felt a lot of just gratefulness and thankfulness, because as you know, North Carolina was hit by a very serious hurricane last week, and people are still struggling with that. Like we know, people have struggled in Puerto Rico. And I think our community has learned a lot from it, and it's resulted in us volunteering and us volunteering our time, volunteering our resources to our family in the East. So even though it has been a very hectic week and a tough week for a lot of us, it has been a week to be thankful. A week to be thankful that our community is coming together in union and we are becoming stronger by it. So that is my thankfulness for this morning. All right, let's get into it with the dream interpretation. Have you heard people talk about dreams and say, you know what, I had the craziest dream last night and it didn't really mean anything, but it's just crazy. Let me just tell you about it. And you've had people that believe dreams are just rambles of the mind, because you're working or doing whatever you're doing during the day, and then when you go to sleep, they believe it's just a bunch of rambles and miscommunication between your brain, and that is why you're having these different kinds of dreams. Have you heard people say that? I have heard people say that plenty of times. But let me ask you this. Have you ever had a dream that hit you so profoundly that made you feel either extreme fear, extreme happiness, joy, sadness, whatever, and it really stuck to you? Have you had one of those dreams where you know there's some meaning in it, but you can't really decipher what the heck it means? What about, have you ever had a dream and either days ahead or days later, weeks later, months later, it actually comes true? And when it comes true, you're like, oh my gosh, I had that dream. So what the heck? How did I know this was going to happen? How did that happen? Have you had that happen to you before? Okay, so I've had that happen to me. And that is why I'm a firm believer that our dreams are very meaningful. Our dreams are a deep insight to what is going on in here, to what is going on subconsciously. And this is not directly spiritual, and this is not directly science-based. It's both. It's both of these things. Because what happens is, when we are in our waking life, we're going through our day, we're not really thinking about what we're going to be dreaming about, right? We're just kind of going through our day, going through the motions, doing everything we have to do. And then when we go to bed, we have these interesting dreams. Some of us remember them, some of us don't. When you start remembering them though, you start thinking, okay, what the heck does that mean? That makes absolutely no sense, right? Okay, they don't have to make sense at first, but the reason is that they're not making sense because you don't understand the language of your dreams yet. Okay, so before we talked about the dream dictionary that I used when I was very little. And yes, that dream dictionary helped me tremendously to get at least just a small insight into what some of those symbols may mean for different people. But something that I have learned is that we each have a different language to our dreams. All right, so what the heck do I mean by this? All right, so when you're trying to learn a different language, Spanish, English, Japanese, Chinese, whatever, if you're trying to learn a different language, what do you do first? First, you have to go through and you learn your letters, then you learn certain words, then you develop a sentence structure, right? So it's this whole process before you actually learn the language, okay? It's the same thing with your dreams. So for example, if I am dreaming, all of the symbols that I see, all of the things that I see in my dream, those are little keys. I hold the key to my particular dream, to my dream language. So when some of you ask me to interpret your dreams, I can interpret them. But the more that I know about you and the more that you and I have communicated, the better that I can interpret your dreams, because at that point I'll understand you on a deeper level. So when I am interpreting your dreams, I am not interpreting them through only my sense of self, but from what you've shared with me. So this is why I always say that it's best if we learn our own language of our own dreams, so we can interpret our dreams on a more personal and profound level, okay? So one thing to remember is that we're all very unique. So if I dream about something that causes me fear and anxiety, and I'm like freaking out and I'm nervous. Let's say I see a huge spider in my dream and I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, freaking out. But another person has a dream of a spider, and this person is like a spider lover. Like, they love spiders. So to them, they're like, well, that was a great dream. That's a good sign for me, right? As opposed to me, I'd be like, well, I don't know about this. I don't know if that's a good sign or not, right? So just because you have your dream dictionary doesn't mean that that particular symbol description is going to fit for you. All right. So how the heck do we actually learn the language of our dreams? Because that can be overwhelming, right? It sounds a little bit overwhelming. Like, all right, so what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to know what this means or what that means? Okay. It's simple, but it does take a little bit of work. So I'll tell you what I've done that's helped me understand my dream language. Okay. Alrighty. So the first thing that we do is we write down our dreams, like we talked about in the last video. The reason we write down our dreams is because sometimes the dreams and the dream symbols do not manifest into reality until weeks or sometimes even months down the road. Okay, so we want to have them written down so that we can go back to them and reread them. Okay, so first thing is that start writing down your dreams, and then on a separate journal, write down just a summary of your day. It doesn't have to be specific, but just write down a summary of your day, because what ends up happening is later you can look back and say, okay, I had this dream. It was really weird. X, Y, and Z happened. Let's see what happened during the day. You look at what happened during the day, and all of a sudden, these two things start to link up. Okay, they start to link up in certain ways. So the more that you do that, the more that you'll be able to understand what certain symbols mean to you. And like I always say, our feelings are going to guide us in this, okay? So if you're sleeping and you see yourself on top of this enormous mountain, but you feel a sense of freedom and a sense of inspiration, okay? You jot that down. You jot down, I was on top of this huge mountain. You can even include the color, because the colors will mean something too. Okay, you write all that down and you put what you were feeling. All right, and then you look during the day, maybe, you gave a presentation and you felt really confident about it, right? So that would kind of reflect in your dream. But now if there's something subconsciously that is bothering you, that will also come up in your dream. And the more that you understand how your subconscious reacts to certain situations, the better you'll be able to decipher your dreams and to understand your personal dream language. A lot of the time we have certain dreams and we're like, you know what, that's crazy. It can't mean that. Like you kind of know what it means, but you're like, no way, it can't mean that. That's weird, or it freaks me out. We make all these excuses for it, but we need to stop doing that. We need to see them without a judgmental mind and accept them. Just allow them to come. Start writing them down, because what happens is, as we're living our daily lives, sometimes we come across situations and we don't know how to handle them. We don't know how to handle them. We don't know how to proceed. But if we were to listen to our dreams, our subconscious inside of our dreams is telling us what to do. It is telling us how we feel about that situation. And you will be able to live just a more peaceful life, a more connected life with yourself. And you won't need to really stress out or worry anymore, because you know that you will get an answer to your question in your dreams. So let's practice a little bit of that. And another thing is, when it comes to dream interpretation, we're always taught that, your waking life is here and your dream life is here. Like they're two completely separate things. How can they be two completely separate things if it's happening all to you? Okay, in your waking life, you're in the three-dimensional world where you're seeing, you're physically touching things, all of these things, right? But then in your dream state, what happens? A lot of the time, most of you know from your dream experiences, it can feel very real. You can touch things. You can feel things emotionally, physically. You can eat things, right? You can feel full in a dream. You can experience all of these sensations that you experience in your waking life in your dream. But if we ignore that, if we close that door, then what are we saying? We're saying that our subconscious does not matter, And then we wonder, oh gosh, why am I so confused about this? What should I do about this? We start talking to friends and family and we're like, can you give me advice? Can you help me out? It's wonderful to talk to family. It's wonderful to share things with them. You don't have to though. You don't have to if you don't want to, because all of the answers are in your dreams. And guess what? That means that they're all in here. You have all of the answers. You just don't know that you do yet until you accept that your dreams truly do mean something and until you value them deeply. Okay? So that is how we can learn the language of our dreams. We can start by writing them down, start by summarizing our day, seeing where they link up, and then from there on out, you'll be able to really understand yourself and understand what is going on at a profound level. And when you do that, you are going to feel amazing. You're going to feel amazing because you're going to be able to answer these questions that are troubling you throughout the day. The answers will be in your dreams. And what I'll do later, I'll do a video later of how we can actually work on certain problems while we're sleeping. Because guess what? That stuff is scientifically proven, okay? There are a lot of studies going on that are still trying to understand how dreams actually help us advance in our daily lives, okay? Some studies have been proven or suggesting that we can use our dreams to help us with everyday problems, with even work-related issues, or speaking in public. Different things can be worked out in your dreams, okay? So next video, we will focus on that. But for this week, let's continue having a thankful heart for all of the good that is going on in this world. Let's remember to value our dreams so that way we can better understand ourselves. And let's work on actually understanding our own personal dream language, because the dream language is real, you guys. It is real, and I'm telling you it's real because I've experienced it, okay? I have been writing my dreams down since I was like 7 years old, okay? I have been doing this for a long time, and I see that there is so much meaning to my dreams. If I told you half the dreams I had, you would think I'm a little nutty, because a lot of the dreams that I have do let me know what's going to happen. And I remember them. And what happens is that when something happens in my waking life, and I remember my dream, I literally go back through my journal and I find that dream. And I start reading everything that has happened in that dream. And then I start linking it to what is happening now. And I'm like, okay, this has already happened. What else did I dream? It's really interesting. It's really interesting. And I think also, let's work on taking the mystery out of our dreams, because they're not mysterious. They're us. They're us. It's our subconscious speaking to us. Okay, so let's just make that link and let's work on that this week so we can better understand ourselves and so that we can understand our dream language. Okay, well, anyways, you have a wonderful week. I will be here if you need help with interpreting part of your dreams, or if you've just got questions on how to do it more in detail, please feel free to message me either on here, on Facebook, or WhatsApp. Okay, take care, guys. Bye. Talk to you later.